The Jerks in Profar game again. Game tying home run in the sixth inning. Go ahead home run in the ninth inning. Padres overcome a 2-run deficit and beat the Orioles in Baltimore in game one with Adam Mazur starting. It is a 6-1 road trip. The Padres have won 6 in a row, and they are 6 games over 500, just a few days in front of the trade deadline. Make your way in on this Friday night. We are with you for the next hour or so. John and Jim with you on the wrap-up show. What a trip this has been, maybe season-defining for the Padres. Another big win on the road tonight in Baltimore. As you make your way in, please subscribe. We are hoping to get to 6,600 subscribers by the trade deadline. I promise you this. If we get to 6,600 subscribers by the deadline, you're going to get something big. So please subscribe. We need to get to 6,600 subscribers. I can just feel it. Smash the like button. We're looking to get 500 likes on this video here tonight, whether it's live or on replay. Follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We appreciate your super chats. It's a great way to support the work. Just click the $ below the chat box if you want to make sure we get your message on screen, if you want to support the channel, and if you want custom emojis and badges, you can click the join button down below and become a member. A typical Padres game, Jim. I mean, they overcome a deficit on the road in the second half of a game, so to speak. Miscalled third strike on Profar. He later hits a 2-run home run. Orioles come back and tie the game against the Padres' high-leverage bullpen, only to see Profar hit another 2-run home run in the ninth inning off Craig Kimbrell, and the Padres find a way, as they've done so often this year, and they win it 6-4 tonight at Camden Yards.
Jerks and Profar, you're running out of words to say about him this year. He's been amazing, spectacular, clutch, awesome, great. I mean, whatever word you want to describe Jerks and Profar, there's a million of them as far as like how good he has been for this team this year. And I don't care who you are, no one saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming from Jerks and Profar. And like you shouldn't be surprised by what he's doing continuously this year, but I still feel like every time he comes up in a big moment like this, it's like, oh my God, again? And listen to some of these numbers, John, because it's not just his overall season, it's what he's doing in the clutch. And what he's doing in the clutch is be the best clutch hitter in all of baseball. At C Farenholt 11. I hope I'm saying that last name right. Farenholt.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm not. I don't know how to. I'm sorry, Clark. This is Clark's tweet. I'm not going to take credit for it. So Jerks and Profar is the most clutch hitter in baseball in 2024. The numbers back it up. Here's his numbers in high leverage at bats in 2024. Dude, get ready for this. A 328 WRC plus. Number one in baseball.
Such a thing.
That's like literally off the charts. He has a 531 batting average in baseball in high leverage at bats. And a 636 WOBA. I have no idea what that is. Just full transparency right now. I have no idea what that is. But just for argument's sake, he's first in baseball in that as well. Cool. He's first in baseball in that as well. Those numbers are insane, John.
Well, yeah. First of all, let's explain the WRC plus number. 100 is league average.
Like 150 is a great year.
150 is 50% below, above league average. 326 is 226% above league average. That's what it means.
I know.
Actually, it's 328, so 228% better than league average because 100 is league average. The weighted on base average is absurd.
636
speaks for itself. I mean, he's getting hits more often than he's not in high leverage situations. He's just clutch. I mean, we've said it all year long. He's been good in all spots, but he's been better in big spots. I saw a funny tweet. I think it's spot on from Too Much Morton's tonight that said, like, kind of like Juan Soto would never. There's no chance Juan Soto is touching Profar's high leverage, big time performances and big time moment season because he's the best in baseball. So Soto hasn't been as good as Profar. And to think you're not skipping a beat and arguably you're better in the absence of Juan Soto, I mean, let's just say it like it is. That's where they are right now. They're 56-50. Jurickson Profar is a top 5 player in the National League. You're getting elite pitching. You use 7 pitchers tonight to steal a win. You're not supposed to win this game. The Orioles are minus 200 coming into this game. They're 2-1 favorites. They've really struggled. They're coming back home. They're playing in front of 40,000 people. They jump on the Padres early, and the Padres, to their credit, find a way for a big inning. A 4-run inning again. There were errors. There was a miscalled third strike. Orioles tie it up. It doesn't faze the Padres. A 2-out, 2-run home run from Profar in the ninth. Did you notice how long it took him to get around the bases there in the ninth inning? It must have taken 90 seconds. It was
a long
unbelievable.
Time. He was doing every single like thing in the book. He was doing like and then he did the LeBron thing. And then he did the gritty across the plate. You're like, dude, hey, talk your shit, man. You earned it.
And here's the other thing. Like, I didn't mind going to Suarez in the 8th inning, looking for a 5-out save, and here's why. They haven't been using their bullpen at all. They've had all these off days. Robert Suarez can get a strikeout there with 1 out with men on the corners. He didn't. There was a sac fly, so whatever, in the 8th. But, like, there's only 50-something games left. These guys are off every other day, it seems like right now. And Mike Schilt goes for it. And it did work out because Suarez threw the final 3 outs of the game in the 9th inning. So it's hard to fault him. He's gone to Robert Suarez for multiple inning saves a lot, and it's worked out every single time. They've only lost 1 game this year with him on the mound. So it worked out again here today, and the Padres win at 6-4.
I just can't get over Jurickson Profar's season. This is an absolute career year for him if he continues to do this. And by the way, as we talked about, like, Profar was struggling, and his numbers over this road trip are really not that great. Like, he's hitting 258 on this road trip, but the average is whatever when you say, okay, you have a 980 OPS. And before that,
today he had 2 home runs. That's probably half of it.
Right. But before that, John, he was struggling up until the break. When we talked about it, we're like, hey, is this Profar now? Like, he's going to tail off because he's Jurickson Profar. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that, like, he's never done this in his career before, have this type of season. And I mean, you kind of are speechless at times about what Jurickson Profar is doing. He is just incredible. Whenever this team needs a big hit, he will deliver, because those numbers we just read off there are bonker numbers, and he's putting together an MVP type of season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a front runner by any stretch.
He's top 5.
He's the Padres MVP, and what he's done with men in scoring position this year, where he's got a 974 OPS. What he's done with, I mean, it's amazing. I'm looking at splits right now. His splits are so bonkers with men on base. It's a complete outlier.
It's a joke.
Every hitter in baseball, let alone his career. It's just amazing, to your point. I mean, you're running out of, like, superlatives, but an 880 OPS, a 301 batting average, a 387 on base percentage for the year for a guy that you signed off the scrap heap in late February as a bench piece, as a reserve. And you have him and you have Merrill, and you're getting Tatis back at some point, presumably. And you then begin to wonder, how aggressive is A.J. Preller going to be or not be based on the way this team is playing? Dennis Lynn writing tonight in The Athletic that there's a lot of reasons to believe that Leo DeVries in the minor leagues is off limits. He didn't say they won't trade him, but he said there's reasons to believe he's off limits because he's on a complete binge. But the question remains, how aggressive is A.J. Preller going to be in his pursuit of starting pitching? You could sense they need it. I mean, Adam Major went 2 innings or 2 2/3 innings here today. They've skipped the number 5 spot. Everything else is clicking for them. Other than that number 5 spot, yes, Adrian Morejon was shaky tonight. He's one of your leverage guys in your bullpen. Yes, you're without Fernando Tatis Jr., but I mean, how aggressive do you want to be when the team's playing like this, Jim? They're 19-10 in their last 29 games without Fernando Tatis Jr. Do you even need to rock the boat the way they're playing?
So I'm still not done with Profar. Like, listen to some of these numbers. All right. These are crazy. Scoring position this year. The team last year had a major problem with it. He's hitting 342 with a 974 OPS with runners in the scoring position. His bases loaded numbers are stupid. I mean, this is
Let me guess. He's got like a 3,000 OPS.
Yes. He has a 3,024 OPS with the bases loaded, and he's hitting 833. With
So
runners
he's
at
5 for 6.
With runners at scoring, he's actually 6 for 7. Oh no, 5 for 6.
Okay.
You're right. So he's had 7 at bats. Runners at second and third. All right. He's hitting 556 with an 1192 OPS. With a runner at third, John, he's hitting 500. With, I mean, dude.
I was just his 2 out stats. He's got it. I mean, all of his numbers. I'm looking at him.
301
right
with an 851 OPS with 2 outs.
Yeah, that's hard to do. I mean, it's an amazing year. And by the way, this is like you're 2/3 of the way through the year. Like, what's going to happen? This is basically going to be his year. Is he going to fall off? I mean, even if he does fall off, it's been an amazing year. He's already played 2/3 of his games. There's only 1/3 remaining. At this point, I think he can finish off the year. Why wouldn't he be able to? He's done it for 4 months.
So the stat here, the late or close stat, I'm assuming, I don't know what the definition of that is.
That's high leverage.
Okay. In this category, in late and close and high leverage, he's at 32 at bats. He's hitting 500 with a 1537 OPS with 3 homers, 10 RBIs. I mean,
let's simplify it. He's been great.
He's been great.
He's been great, and he's carried this team. And we say this often: where would they be without? But you can actually say it with Jerks and Profar because they're not nearly in this position without him. I mean, there's no way you could replicate this without Jerks and Profar because there's been times this year where they've had big pieces struggle. Manny Machado tonight is 0 for 4. By the way, we haven't even touched on Xander Bogarts, who's hitting 500 since returning from the IL. Had his first extra base hit, hitting for power, Jim.
Let's go.
Was 3 for 4. He's up to 265 in terms of hitting. His batting average for the year, his OPS is at 657. It was like low fives a month ago. So Bogarts has been incredible. Jackson Merrill's had a couple of really good days in Washington and now Baltimore in a homecoming of sorts. For Merrill, had an RBI double in this game. Hassan Kim had a couple of hits. I think Campy was really good, had a couple of hits in this one. Luis Ariz had a base hit. Everything clicking. Then you look at this bullpen. They threw everything at this thing. They won with Major, Austin Davis, Gillespie, Matsui, Estrada, Morejon, Suarez.
Well, because of what Dylan Cease did the other day, throwing his no-hitter, he helped win this game today as well because the bullpen was fully rested, because you also had Monday off, and you could unload the clip tonight. That's why it was a short hook on Adam Major. Like, hey, you gave us, what was it? 7 outs?
8.
8 outs? Like that. Okay, cool. You got 8 outs. We'll go to the bullpen, and the bullpen did a fantastic job keeping that thing close until obviously the 8th there with Morejon. They tie the game up, and I mean, the Suarez thing is interesting because a 5-out save, like, whoa, okay. That's a big time ask. To me, it signaled that they desperately need to get another reliever in the back end of that bullpen.
I don't know, because today is you're asking for 19 outs from your bullpen today. So I feel like today is just like an aberration. Like you'd already used Estrada earlier in the game, where typically you're not going to use Estrada earlier in the game. But when your starter goes 2 2/3 innings, I mean, I think Morejon, Estrada, Suarez is fully capable. They're going to add a reliever, but how often are you going to ask your bullpen to go 6 1/3 innings like they did today?
A lot. I mean,
you know,
who knows? This is kind of like one of those. This could happen in the postseason. Absolutely, it could.
It could. I mean, it's not ideal.
No, it's not ideal, but things like this do happen, and you get one more guy back there, it makes things feel easier. And I think Morejon has been fantastic this year. Estrada obviously has been really good this year. Matsui has kind of turned it around. By the way, we haven't even Logan Gillespie out of nowhere. Not a lot of innings pitch, but at the same time, he's done his job when he's gone in there. And Robert Suarez obviously has been Robert Suarez, but this was a definite team win tonight. This was one of the best wins of the year, I feel like. And 6 in a row, John, longest winning streak of the season.
Yeah, longest winning streak in a long time.
Since last year in September, I want to say.
Well, I was going to say in a meaningful situation.
Right.
For the Padres since 2021 when they won 9 straight in terms of it kind of counting in the midst of the season. By the way, Alec Jacob will be called up out of measure, presumably will be sent down.
Correct.
So they'll add some help there in the back of their bullpen or in their bullpen for games 2 and 3 of this series in Baltimore. As the Padres look to win a series and complete a 7-2 road trip or better with one more win. If they were to sweep Baltimore, you're talking about a historically good road trip, one of the best in franchise history. Jared, thank you, man, for getting us started here with the first super of the night. Guys, if you're here, please subscribe. There's 235 people here live right now. There'll be hundreds more on replay. So please subscribe if you're here. We're trying to get to 6,600 subscribers by the trade deadline, which is Tuesday at 3 p.m. Cross your fingers for some good news for the Padres. Let's get to 6,600 subscribers. And thanks for the supers. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate your support. Click the $ below the chat box like Jared did, who's a member as well. Forecasting for tomorrow, he says King, 6 2/3 innings. Very possible the way he's throwing it. 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 run allowed, 5 hits for Michael King. He's been just terrific for the Padres. I think it's very possible that Michael King is able to do something like that tomorrow, work into the 7th inning, and give the Padres a chance to win again.
Their starting pitching has been, minus today, has been great. Today I don't even.
Today doesn't count.
Today's a bullpen game,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That's a bullpen game. But their starters have been great. I mean, Michael King on his last start was in Cleveland on Sunday, right? And
that's right.
I mean, his ERA is down to 3.28, John.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he's blown past his innings mark from last year. His whip is 1.19, 135 strikeouts over his last. I mean, shoot. He's only had 20 starts this year. Because he came out of the bullpen in Korea. But his last 15 starts, John, he's got a sub-3 ERA. Is that good?
That's really good.
I mean, 87 innings pitched in his last 15 starts. I don't know what that equals out to, average-wise. But, yeah, that's really, really freaking good. Huh?
I'm not going to pull this up, but I'm watching highlights of El Paso with a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 9th inning with 2 outs, and the right fielder drops the ball.
Okay.
And
should we start the El Paso wrap-up show after this?
It's amazing. Salt Lake walked off El Paso on a fly ball to right with 2 on, and the dude, I have no clue who it was, just dropped the ball. He was just there, and he closed his glove, and the ball fell out, and 2 runs scored for Salt Lake. Thankfully, it's not a major league game, so who cares? But it's fascinating. Just showed up in my timeline. Steve, thank you.
Okay.
If anyone knows who that is who dropped that ball, put it in the chat. I'm curious. Steve, thank you. He says, add an ace starter, and this team is World Series bound. I actually don't think that's what they need. They have an ace starter. So, an ace starter isn't going to – I mean, sure, you want to have 5 aces, I guess, but – I don't think an ace starter, we just talked about Michael King, he's been great. We've talked about Matt Waldron, he's been terrific. And obviously Dylan Cease has been the best pitcher in baseball here over the last month. So I don't think they need it. I mean, you're not kicking it out of bed, but I don't think that's what they need to quote unquote get to a World Series. That to me is not a need right now for the Padres.
It's not a need. Yeah, of course. Every other team that's in contention would love another frontline starting pitcher. You're never going to say no to more pitching and top-level pitching for sure. Mm-hmm. But the ace that you would theoretically want or trying to get would cost you DeVries and or Salas, and probably more than that. So their front line starting pitching right now I would match up with almost anybody in baseball. Actually, screw it. I'd match him up with anybody in baseball. Cease.
I don't have the
King, Waldron.
perspective of knowing what other rotations have done, but it's got to be right up there right now.
I mean, Atlanta with is the only other team I could think of that has like some good frontline starting.
Some injuries.
Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, with Suarez and Wheeler, I'd have to look. I mean, not for their season-long team ERA is not top 5 in baseball, nor is their starting rotation, but recently it's been elite, obviously. And that's what we concern ourselves with. Like, it's been elite. They're 19-10 in their last 29 games. That's led by starting pitching.
And it's because Dylan Cease has gone to ace mode.
Yeah, he's complete. He's
that
beast mode.
Changes the equation. Because if Dylan Cease is just average, that's tough. You need an ace.
Yep.
You need a 1. I'm not saying Michael King's not a 1, but this is technically kind of the first time that Michael King is doing this. So it's hard to go there when you haven't seen it before. You've seen it from Cease. He's done it. That changes the equation. So
yeah, he's like he's like a prime cut 1. He's like the one of ones right now. Like, he is the one in Major League Baseball. As we speak right now, he's the best pitcher. His last 3 starts are the best starts any pitcher has made in baseball, like, ever. Yep. When you add them all up. Chucky D, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you guys. Please subscribe, and thank you for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. I mean, this is an amazing question. He says, I'm totally serious when I ask this. How is Profar doing this far into his career? Hashtag Profar NL MVP. I just think he's comfortable in San Diego, and I think he's put it all together. And sometimes you just bottle something up and pray that it lasts for forever. This might be a 1 in a career season. Maybe he replicates it again in the future. It's not going to be easy. He's now in his 30s. He's done a little bit of everything. It hasn't only been hitting for power. It hasn't only been hitting in clutch situations. He's just been a centerpiece all year long and come through for them when they've needed him to come through. I don't know how he's done it. I have no idea, but I'm not going to bet against him. At this point, it's impossible to bet against him.
Yeah, I think it's being comfortable. I think it's also that chip on his shoulder is massive, and the something to prove mentality as well. I think maybe something clicked with Victor Rodriguez or whoever, and it just is coming all together for him this season. Like, I don't know what his final numbers are going to be, John, but I mean, if this dude hits 30 plus home runs for you and has 100 RBIs and hits 300 with like an 880 OPS,
you take that.
Take that for $1 million. Yeah, that's the best $1 million spent in all of baseball. Find me somebody else.
I agree. Jared, thank you for your super chat. He says, by the way, I was only off on Cease's line by 4 hits. Well, yeah, he didn't know. And you said 4. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Thank you, Jared. Steve, appreciate you. He says, King has never pitched as many innings. It's true, but that's not this. He's not capable of. I mean, he said his goal to begin the year was 180 plus innings. I'm going to take him at his word at this point because I think he's going to throw 180 plus innings. It might not be ideal. Maybe they have to skip a turn in the rotation at one point late, but there's no way Michael King having a year like that. They're not shutting down anyone. Michael King, if you make the postseason, is pitching in the postseason. Matt Waldron, if you make the postseason, is pitching and starting in the postseason. So yes, it's uncharted, but there's nothing wrong with Michael King. He's clearly feeling great. He's pitching as well as he has at any point right now with the Padres. So yes, it's true. He's never pitched this many innings, but who's to say he can't continue on this trajectory in the second half of the year?
Yeah, it's not like it's Garrett Crochet where he pitched 12 innings last year. He pitched 104 innings, something like that.
I don't know.
He pitched just over 100 innings last year.
Yeah,
he made 7
he's
starts
well over that now.
He's well over that. He's got 118 right now. He's on pace for literally like 170, which is crazy.
Like 170, 180. Yep.
I do think they will find places to give him extra rest, like they did today.
Yeah, I agree.
Today was Michael King's start, but they pushed him back a day. So I do think that going into the rest of the season, down the stretch here, the last 2 months, they will find ways to make sure Michael King maybe get some extra rest here and there, especially when you go out and you acquire a starting pitcher, which they will do. It'll give them some length and leeway. And if Joe's really going to come back late August, that will give you another pitcher that you can potentially have to take over a King start, depending on where they're at in the standings, which, by the way, right now is it's anybody's game right now for any wild card spot. No wild card spot is safe from 4 to 6. Everything is up for grabs.
Well, that's a good segue to this from Joshua. It says the 3 spots in the wild card became extremely tight today. The Padres are a half game out of the top wild card, but they're 1 game up on a playoff spot. But this is the best position they've basically been in all year, and let me explain why. Because there are 3 teams now that you're even with, and you could be in any of those spots.
Yep.
So, again, nothing is guaranteed, and there's 2 teams within a game and a half of you behind you. But you should feel good because right now what's within reach is the top wild card spot. It's right there. You could have it tomorrow, and you could secure it in a week if you continue to play good baseball. So, of course, nothing has been signed, sealed, delivered, and a bad week could put them on the outside looking in, but a good week could put them 2, 3, 4 games up on a playoff spot. I think they should feel really good at 56 and 50. All of a sudden, you got a legitimate winning percentage. I said if they get 7 games over 500, I trust this team. So I'm close to saying that I fully trust this team. They just have something in them. They clearly believe, and I think they've overcome what happened before the All-Star break where they went 1-6. If you take a long view on it, they were 12-3 before that. Now they're 6-0 in their last 6. They're 19-10 in their last 29 games. That's who they are. So they've played well, and they're becoming more trustworthy by the day, in my opinion, based on the way that they're playing right now.
And they're streaky as hell, man. Like when they're hot, they're hot. And you look at the wild card race right now, a lot of time, this will change every day. But with the Braves losing 6 straight out of the All-Star break.
So you've gained 6 games on them in 6 days.
Exactly. And the Mets are streaking. I mean, they're 55 and 48 right now. They won 5 straight.
Crazy.
Arizona right behind you has won 3 straight. And, St. Louis and Pittsburgh, they're still kind of hanging around. Obviously, St. Louis is a game and a half back. Pittsburgh is 2.5 back. But, dude, this thing is wide open right now. So as at this particular point in time, anything is possible for the Padres. Like a week ago at the All-Star break, we were like, they're gonna have to fight for that 6th seed. Now, anything is possible at this point in time. Again, next week it could be completely different. Next week after that could be completely different. But I do think it's safe to say that all the teams I mentioned, the Mets, Atlanta, Padres, Arizona, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh, kind of looking on the outside in, probably you're looking at 4 teams legitimately for 3 spots.
I think it's more than 4, right? Because Arizona's a game out and St. Louis a game and a half out, and Pittsburgh's what, 2 games out?
What I'm saying is, I think that a couple teams will fall off. I don't think it's going to be 6 all the way.
No, either do I. But right now, it's hard to say it's only 4.
Well, right now, yeah. But in the end, I think it's going to be 4 teams for 3 spots, and they're all going to be very tight.
In the end, I think the Padres clearly, based on where they are right now in the standings, could host a playoff series because it's right there. It's right there to be had.
Insane. Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. If they get home winning this Baltimore series, and if they get home within 6 games of the Dodgers like they are right now, 6.5 games, and I go back and forth and they lose a game and the Dodgers win a game and say throw it out. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible to stay within arm's reach of LA here in the second half. We'll see on that. Mauricio Machado, thank you for the super chat. He says, remember, 83 wins gets you in with this National League ? Things change fast. It's wild. Yeah, it's not going to be 83. It could be more than last year, which was 84. It could be. These teams have played well. Padres are on pace to win more than 84 games right now. So, yeah, it might take more. I don't know. It might take 85, might take 86. It's not going to take more than that, but it could take 85. to get in.
Yeah, my prediction at the beginning of the year was 86 wins. So
I
they
think
get to
they're playing on
86.
pace for that.
You feel pretty good about that.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to this in a moment, guys. Please subscribe if you're here. We're trying to get to 6,600 subscribers by the trade deadline. We need your help. Please subscribe. We have year-round exclusive Padres content. We are the home of real Padres talk. Please subscribe, and thank you for the super chats. We'll get back to it in a moment. Click the $ below the chat box. We've told you about our title sponsor, the Wrap-Up Show, for years because Mark Nimitz has been with us for 3 years on the Wrap-Up Show, and he has done homeowners, life insurance, and earthquake insurance for me and my family, and he can for yours as well. He also does auto and much more. So before you renew your policy, get in contact with Mark Nimitz. He's going to save you money. He could save you $750 or more. In addition to that, if you ever need him, he is there for you. Trust me. I had to file a claim a couple of years ago. He took care of everything, saved us thousands of dollars, saved us dozens of hours of time. He is a great, terrific insurance agent that happens to be a native San Diegan and a lifelong Padres fan and a huge supporter of the channel. If you support our work, please get in contact with Mark, whether you need information on a new policy or before you renew your current policy. Mark's going to save you time and money. So click that link in the description down below. You can get free quotes online or get a free quote by calling Mark. He'll talk to you about the Padres. He'll talk to you about saving money on your insurance as well. If you support the channel, support our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
All his information is in the ticker, mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to our buddy Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap-Up Show sent you.
Very busy 24 hours, I think, since our last wrap-up show in terms of the trade deadline and acquisitions and moves. The Mariners have been very active. Randy Rosarena moves from Tampa to Seattle. Baltimore made multiple moves today, bolstering their bullpen with Sir Anthony Dominguez from the Phillies. They then added Zach Eflin, a former Philly as well, from Tampa. So teams have been active. I think we're just getting started. There's still, 4+ days to work with here from now until Tuesday at 3 p.m. We have not heard from AJ Preller. We know he will strike. I think we'd all be shocked if there wasn't a move made by the Padres general manager. He has time on his side. He's got his team playing good baseball, which is on his side as well. But now we just theorize, Jim, and we wait. Do they go and pursue Crochet? Do they go big, potentially with someone like Jack Flaherty? Do they go, I don't know, off the scrap heap type pitcher potentially in terms of a starter to make 7 or 8 starts? But we'll know sooner rather than later, that's for sure.
So here's the latest from Dennis Lin tonight. If my dumb, stupid phone would load. All right. Here we go. Although there have been varying accounts of exactly how off limits Louis DeVries is in a thin farm system, the Padres will not consider moving him for anything less than controllable star-level talent. The kind of talent that with so many teams vying for a playoff berth could be especially difficult to acquire before Tuesday's trade deadline. Here's the thing. This is just me. It's not Dennis's piece. There's no star talent on the market right now to the level
sure there is.
Crochet?
And Scooble.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Crochet. I mean, he described Garrett Crochet, didn't he? He said without controllable star level talent. So that's 2.5 years. So like he basically saying it's not going to happen unless you trade for someone like Garrett Crochet.
He said the Padres have made exceptions in dealing away prospects whom team executives previously deemed off limits. Obviously, most notable, Legore and Wood for Soto.
Yep.
Still, it would be an industry-wide surprise if the Padres moved Salas. And with limited premium big league talent available on the trade market, DeVries is making a compelling case to stay where he is, starring in the San Diego farm system as another potential building block.
I mean, I wouldn't move him. I don't think they need to. And he could be a building block cornerstone piece. And I think Crochet is a bit of a question mark. Not to say Crochet couldn't work out beautifully. He could. But I'm not overly tempted to move him.
Now, Jeff Passan today, he wrote, and I'm not saying this is AJ Preller. I'm not. But there's a possibility it could be.
Yeah, 1 in 30.
Right. Jeff Passan wrote today, things change, of course, and with the 6 p.m. Eastern deadline on Tuesday, July 30th, fast approaching, teams on both sides of the add-subtract coin might get desperate and do something out of character. One general manager on Thursday lamented the lack of high-end talent available and said, quote, "I want to do something stupid." 1 in 30 chance that was Preller.
I guess 1 in 30. I mean, maybe. I guess we'll never truly know. Is it stupid to add Garrett Crochet? No, I don't think it's stupid. By the way, that's not what I would say. If they trade Crochet in a package that includes DeVries, I'm not going to say it's stupid because I don't know if it is. I'm going to say it's aggressive and it's risky, but I wouldn't call it stupid to trade for someone that's got a sub-1 whip and has been one of the top 3 pitchers in baseball in 2024.
League in strikeouts, all-star. I mean, he's a dominant lefty.
That's not stupid. If anything, it's aggressive. It's putting all your chips in the middle of the table. I like it. I mean, I really do. I mean, I don't want them to trade DeVries, but if they did and it's for Crochet and they're all in again, I mean,
they're already all in though.
But you're going to go even further all in, aren't you?
True. You're like 1 chip left, and you're like, screw it.
I always find it interesting. And listen, I think there'd be a lot of criticism if they traded Leo DeVries. I know what the reaction would be. I would see it in the chat. We'd see it on social media. But again, it goes back to the end of the day point, which always is, what is going to bring a championship to the city of San Diego, and how can you do it in the fastest manner possible?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the answer. The fastest manner possible might be Leo DeVries as a 25-year-old in 8 years, leading this franchise to a World Series. Or the fastest way possible might be trading away Leo DeVries and bringing in Garrett Crochet, extending him, and he guides you to a World Series in the next 1 to 3 years. Like, nobody knows the answer. But if I'm AJ Preller, that's the end goal. Like, what can I do to put my team in a position to get to the postseason and win once I'm in? So I'm not going to rip him if he trades away Leo DeVries. We can question it. We can weigh the pros and the cons, but I don't think it's like, you trade Leo DeVries, you've ruined everything. I mean, how do we know? Because we don't know what it's going to look like.
See, I've always been the proponent of try to do everything you possibly can to win now. That's why I love the Soto trade, still do. That's why I love the Dylan Cease trade. That's why I love the Luis Arraez trade. That's why I love the Joe Musgrove, Blake Snell, Yu Darvish trades.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know, like there is not the trades I just named off right there. I love the Josh Hader trade.
Yep.
Okay.
Cease.
And yeah, Cease, like all those trades, I am 100% for. You try to win right now. I know there's a lot of prospects that were dealt in those trades. I was in favor of the Mike Clevenger trade at the time. You know, a lot of those players would be nice in the Padres right now. Right. But I am the biggest proponent of win now at all costs. But with Garrett Crochet, I'll say this. We've been talking a lot the last couple of days about how they don't desperately need Garrett Crochet.
Right.
You would like to have Garrett Crochet. You would like to have his talent under control. Okay. But you're not like desperate for a frontline starter. In this case, I wouldn't be fully on board with Garrett Crochet because I think they still can upgrade their team just as good with trading for a fourth or number 3 or number 4 without giving up DeVries. And so you can, you know, have your cake and eat it too. You can get a pitcher that you need in here to help your team get to the postseason while you have a really solid 1, 2, 3, and you have an ace in Dylan Cease without giving up DeVries. And you can still win.
Yeah. I think it's a great argument. I think what you said is spot on. Like, we've been in favor of a lot of the moves he's made for big league talent, but that doesn't mean you're in favor of every move he could possibly make to help his team, quote unquote, now. Crochet's a bit of a square in a circle because of his innings issues in 2024 and his lack of desire to potentially pitch in the postseason in 2024, which is also bizarre, unless he gets an extension. Now, I agree with that. Like, maybe it's not a head over heels move. I agree with that. But I can still argue the merits of doing it, is all I would say. Because you put Crochet's numbers in your rotation and you get him to make 10 starts in the regular season, and then we'll see about October. And again, I would get it. I would get it. I'm not saying I'm 100% in favor either, because I don't think I am, but I'm not not in favor. Just
Like
on its face.
we all know that Preller and this organization is dealing with a lot of pressure this year. I do think you trade for Crochet and you give up DeVries. I think that puts more pressure on you to win right now. Like there's already a lot. I'm not saying that there isn't. There's a lot. I think this ratchets it up past whatever it is right now, because like you traded away a potential guy that could be here for a long time. Like think about this. If they trade DeVries for Crochet, you could make the argument and say you just traded away another Jackson Merrill, maybe a better Jackson Merrill.
Right. Well, we don't know. They may have traded away a 10-time All-Star or a guy that doesn't have any success in the big leagues. I mean,
right. I get it, but like, then I do think it does put pressure and more of it on you. Like, okay, well, you just not mortgage the future, but you traded potentially a big piece of your future away.
Potentially.
You got to win now, man. Even more so. Like, yes, I know there's still a lot of pressure here, but it just becomes even greater, I feel like.
I agree. Andrew, thanks for the Superman. We appreciate you. Again, if you're here, subscribe. If you're here, thank you for the super chats. And super thanks if you're here on replay. We appreciate them. Andrew says no one talks about Profar's D, Gold Glove caliber. He has played a really good left field. He doesn't have the strongest of arms, but he's a better left fielder than Juan Soto was, that's for sure. Defensively, Jared, thank you for the super chat. He says best move Preller made was hiring Niebla. It's one of his better moves. They hired Niebla before they hired a manager that cycle. Before they hired Bob Melvin, and that really has paid off beautifully. We'll get back to the conversation in a moment. We do want to remind you about our friends over at Mova Globes. They've got the MLB officially licensed globes like this one we have right here. Jim's got one on that shelf. I've got one right here in my hand. These are great keepsakes, officially licensed from our friends here at Mova Globes. This technology invented right here in North County, Cardiff by the sea. These balls spin automatically with artificial light or natural light. They really are unbelievable. You're going to absolutely love them. They're officially licensed. If you use promo code PWS10, you're going to get 10% off. Click the link in the description down below. You can see them on screen. In addition to the MLB globes, they've got planets, and I think Earth is a planet. Here's an Earth globe. They're really spectacular. Great keepsakes, desk item, home office, work office, whatever it is. Great company. Look at this. No strings, no cords, no batteries, just the technology. Magnets inside. They work with the Earth somehow. They're really, really cool, and you're going to love them. Make sure to pick one up, Jim, by using promo code PWS10 by clicking that link in the description down below.
PWS10, 10% off your first order. Go get one right now. They're awesome for your desk, your bookshelf, your office, at work, at home. Go get a Mova Globe right now. You can get an Earth, you can get the planet, you can get the sun, you can get the nebulas. They got everything there. So basketball, you can get the Starry Night.
Yeah.
Like, dude, go there right now, Mova Globe. PWS 10% off. Do it right now.
Can't go wrong. You really can. You're going to love them. Your family's going to love them. It is a great, great gift for a baseball fan in your life. And again, use that promo code PWS10. Padres play game 2 tomorrow with Michael King. Then they'll wrap up this 9-game road trip on Sunday, head home. And oh, by the way, when they get home, who do they play? The LA Dodgers will be at Petco on Tuesday and Wednesday. So just an exciting time of year, obviously, with the trade deadline just days away and with the Padres playing really well. And then with LA coming to town for 2, and, all of a sudden you look up, it's August, and there's 2 months left in the regular season, and you feel half decent. I think as a Padres fan right now, you feel better than half decent with the way they're playing. A 6-game winning streak is the real deal. I just like that they've rebounded, Jim, from that 1-7 stretch. They lost game 1 of the road trip. I mean, there's no world where you're thinking they're going to go 7-2 on the road trip and they lose game 1 of the road trip and they're 1-7, but here we are. They're well positioned to go 7-2 right now.
They've done it all year, and what you now are waiting for, which you hope that doesn't come, is the eventual fall, and they go 1-6 to give it away. You just hope that doesn't happen, because tonight felt like in that 8th inning, you're like, all right, here we go. Here's the start. because they play hot, they play great, and then they have like a bad loss or one of those crushing losses, and that shit lingers for them for not just a game, for like a week, and then they snap out of it, and then they gain it back, and it's like, so tonight was a huge win. They are streaking. They're hot. One of the hottest teams in baseball right now. Finish this thing off. I mean, no less than 7-2 on this trip. 8-1 would be like, that would probably go down as one of the best 9-game road trips in franchise history.
Yeah, not probably.
Like, have they ever gone 8-1 on a 9-game road trip? I don't know.
Well, they haven't done better. I know they haven't gone 9-0
No.
on a 9-game road trip. So it would at least equal the best road trip of this length in franchise history, if not surpass it. I do see in the chat people talking about Blake Snell, which I do think is at least a conversation to be had, because the Giants are done. They're clearly willing to part ways with some of their veterans, including Snell. Now they're going to have to eat a lot of that salary, I would think, to move him. But if the Giants are taking on salary and you've got a bit of a known commodity, and by the way, his last 3 starts you talked about today on John and Jim have been good. So they're taking on some of the risk. You're giving up, I don't even know what you're giving up in that scenario to land him. And all of a sudden he's back and you're getting the band back together. Jerkson came back to get the band back together. Can Blake Snell come home again and pitch effectively in the second half of the year, and you can accomplish some of your goals, which is to get like a mid-tier starter? Now, at his best, he's a top-line starter, but this year he hasn't. Is that worth a phone call if you're AJ Preller to the Giants to see if that's even feasible?
The only way it's feasible is if the Giants eat all of his money. And even then, like, wouldn't you, if you're the Giants, ask for at least like a decent prospect?
Yeah, but I mean, they know they're not getting a top flight one in that scenario, right?
No. Blake Snell's pitched well in his last 3 starts. He is a second half pitcher. It would be the easiest transition in the world for him. And we know how like he is when it comes to changes of scenery. Like, it takes a while. So it's an interesting thing to talk about. I just don't see it happening here because of the money. Like,
well, I don't think the money issue is next year. The player option is the issue. So, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have an issue this year with it. Dude, because he's only owed 1/3 of whatever he makes.
We talked all offseason. Like, I wouldn't touch Blake Snell with a 10-foot pole for that type of money. It's not.
This is no money.
I know.
This isn't that much money. We were talking like $200 million deal this offseason, 150.
Right.
You kept saying 5 for 150.
But you want to add a $30 million pitcher to your payroll for next season, potentially, if he opts in. And
he's opting in.
You're already dealing with massive, massive payroll constraints as it is.
Well, let me ask you this. If you had 2 options, get rid of Leo DeVries or pay $30 million for Blake Snell.
These are my only 2 options?
Yeah.
I pay $30 million for Blake Snell.
Exactly. And honestly, $30 million.
They're not paying $30 million for Blake Snell. That's not going to happen.
It's not a crazy number, truthfully. I mean, if he pitches the way he's capable of pitching, I'm not saying Cy Young caliber. I mean, if he's just a number 2, again, I don't think it'll happen because the money would be my guess, but I don't think it's the worst idea. If he's owed $150 million or something, it's stupid. But 1 year, I feel like you could figure out a way to make it work if they take on the salary of 2023 and you have to.
How's that going to work? How would that work?
Well, there's a few ways. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Darvish, for example. Is Darvish ever going to pitch again here?
I don't know.
Because that's 20.
Okay.
So let's say Darvish retires.
Okay.
Because he's done. And you trade Snell's 30 for Darvish's 20, and
he's making 38 next year, I think.
Snell's 38?
Yeah.
38 million?
Next year, yeah.
Are you sure?
That's what everyone in the chat's saying right now.
38? I thought it was 2 years 60.
It was like 64.
Was it? Blake Snell
or 70? No, 60. How much is it?
38's a lot. That's a lot. That's not worth it.
Dude, that's a
38. He's
lot,
okay.
man.
He's making 23 this year and then 37, 38 next year to get to 60. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
So here's the
That doesn't
thing.
make sense.
Money doesn't add up. And
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
And
I don't
you-
think
and
they'll be
you-
able to move him with him
Yeah,
being
and
38
you'd
next
have
year.
to literally be like, all right, Giants, if he opts in, you got to take care of that too.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know how that's possible. Why would the Giants do that? They're going to spend $40 million to go get two prospects from the Padres?
Only if you give them like
DeVries and Salas.
Yeah. And I think they would do that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Again, that's another square and circle. I don't think Crochet makes a ton of sense, like we've talked about. Again, I'm not going to say it's the dumbest idea in the world or it's quote unquote stupid, but it doesn't make perfect sense. Why not just go get a mid-tier starter? Why go get Garrett Crochet? Why just go get a number 3?
They probably will, John.
Right.
Like, I know AJ Preller wants Garrett Crochet, but I also want like a new
Cake.
I want like a brand new 2025 Jeep. Like, it's not happening. Like, I want a lot of things. Like, I want a like custom movie accurate lightsaber. Not gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. But like, you want like more kombucha at your house.
I do.
You know?
I want like a mouth that isn't swollen from gum surgery.
Right. You want like a functioning mouth. Pause. Yeah. And that's what Preller, that's how I view Preller with Garrett Crochet. Now, the difference between our wants and his want is he's actively trying to get that.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
No, that's fair. I think that's a good summary of it. And listen, with Preller, you cannot rule out the idea of some huge swings. Like, he could be trying to theorize something we haven't even thought of, or a player we haven't even mentioned. Like, nothing's outside the realm of possibility with this guy. Not to say he's going to execute on it. He hasn't always. For every Juan Soto, there's been a 2021 deadline or 2023 deadline. So there's not a guarantee that he's able to execute on something like this, but it's possible. The thing with Preller, the reason that, it kind of excites you as a fan is you don't know. You don't know what he's going to try to execute on over the next 96 hours. He could truly do anything, and it wouldn't be overly shocking if he did that. I think it would be surprising if, he moved like a Hassan Cam, but I mean, again, is it going to be? I mean, Solano could likely move. I really don't know. He doesn't play.
By the way, I can't believe I said a Jeep. It was stupid.
Why, you don't like Jeeps?
I like Jeep Wranglers, but like, that's not like my dream car. I don't even have like a dream car.
I don't know what my dream car would be.
You wanted like a Tesla forever.
I would love it. I think I want a Rivian.
Ooh, those cars are cool.
Those things are dope. Let's get back to this in a moment, guys. Underdog Fantasy, now is your chance to play and win and take advantage of a special offer by using promo code PADSWRAP, PADSWRAP. You get a free special pick with the Pick'ems. You're halfway to a win. They're giving you a free special pick. Plus your first deposit, you're getting a 50% deposit match no matter what you deposit. You deposit $10, they'll give you $5. You deposit $500, they'll give you $250 free dollars. It's going on right now at Underdog Fantasy. Play across all sports, Major League Baseball pick'ems, including Padres pick'ems going on this weekend. Play along. Your chance to win. You can win hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. You can actually win 1,000 times your money in a single night with a brand new Streaks contest. Again, the promo code to use is PADSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. You're getting the free special pick. You're getting the 50% deposit match as well. Jim thinks he could go 11 for 11. You go 11 for 11 on your Streaks, pick them. I mean, basically coin flips, 50-50 coin flips. You go 11 for 11, you're walking away with a thousand times your money, which means $5 turns into $5,000, $10 into $10,000. Imagine if Jim had $10,000, would he buy his Jeep Wrangler?
Jeep Wrangler.
Probably not.
Probably not. No, probably not.
Spend it in Switzerland.
In Italy, yeah. I'm surprised we haven't even talked about Xander really much tonight. You're giving me
I'd love to rip you.
Rip me for what?
For doubting Xander Bogarts.
Doubting Xander Bogarts. When did I doubt Xander Bogarts?
Actually, his 2-year career as a Padre.
You're fucking right.
Those 2 years.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, Xander's been awesome. And if he's gonna get a hit, if he's gonna get multi-hits every game, like, who gives a shit, I guess.
He's hitting 500 since coming back.
I know, it's amazing.
And that's like a long period of time.
He's on a bender.
He's amazing.
He's been great. He's been great since he's returned. I mean, he returned with like a I want to say 220 something batting average, or maybe lower than that. I think it's 219. 219. And he's raised his batting average to what, 260 something now?
265.
Dude, in like what, 10 games? 10 games, he's raised his batting average by 50 points or 40 points. 9 games, he's raised his batting average by 46 points.
Correct.
I mean,
he's 18 for 36, aka 500.
Look, I do want to see more doubles and homers, but like, if he's gonna do this, you can't even complain at all. And tonight he had a double, 3 hits again. You're like, all right, man. He's been great, and he needed this too, because he was in the midst of his worst season as a pro. And I'm sure there was a lot of pressure from him. There was probably some nerves. There was some doubt, probably, like, am I completely washed right now? And seeing what Donovan Solano was doing in his place, you're like, I need to perform. And not only has he performed, he's like, yeah, he's in 500. It's incredible.
I mean, 18
and not a small sample size either. It's not like a 3-game stretch. I mean,
he's been awesome. I mean, you're looking at the guy that when he signed here was trending maybe for Cooperstown. I think he's kind of been sidetracked from that over the last 2 years, but he can still finish with 2,500 plus hits easy in his career. At times he's been a hit machine, which is what he's been here over the last 8 or 9 games. You've got Bogarts, and then someone just put in the chat, what about Merrill? I mean, Merrill in front of hundreds of friends, family, acquaintances today at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Remember, he's a product of the state of Maryland, which is few and far between with high-level picks. There's very few. Jackson Merrill's one of those guys. I think James Wood is out of the state of Maryland as well. Padres first and second round picks that one year. And Merrill just, he's had a dip or two, but he always rebounds beautifully. And he has here over the last 3 games. Had 2 more hits today, including an RBI double in that 4-run inning, that 4-run 6th inning. You're kind of lose sight of Merrill sometimes because you see what Profar has done. We talk about Machado a lot, Tatis, even Bogarts now. Merrill is going to put together a really solid first season in the big leagues. He's not going to be Rookie of the Year because of Paul Skeens, but he's been one of the best rookies in baseball. I can definitively say that.
He is so damn impressive.
He is.
I like everything he's done this year. You're like, that's not a 21-year-old.
Right.
Like, what? It just shows that having a competent center fielder makes a difference offensively. And, man, again, you're a loss for words of what Jerks and Profar is doing this year. And you're almost like the same with Jackson Merrill. There's nothing that you could say about his game that, I mean, he's having a great year. Just an absolute great year. He's a stud. He's an all-star. He's a cornerstone piece of this franchise. He says all the right things. He does all the right things. And, next year will be a big test for him to back up this year. But as of right now, just live in the moment, and he's been amazing.
He has. Michael saying Ha-Seong Kim almost got hurt today. Yeah, he kind of like, I don't know, turns something over the first base bag. He always pretends like it's the worst injury in baseball history and then stays in the game. Like he's always hurt.
Right.
And then stays in the game and plays every single day. So I'm not concerned about it because he stayed in the game. There was some speculation, could Ha-Seong Kim move? It doesn't make any sense to move Ha-Seong Kim. It just doesn't. He plays every single day for a good team. Even if it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense to move Donovan Solano either.
Solano makes more sense. I mean, he's he's a valuable bench piece, but if you can get something in return for a valuable bench piece that you think is more valuable, I mean, Solano's not the difference between like getting to the postseason or not.
Just as long as no one else gets hurt.
And if someone did, they can. I mean, it's not like Donovan's. Oh, you know, you don't have Donovan Solano.
Okay.
Weber, thank you for the super chat. He says, what bat do they add when Tatis is out till mid-September? Well, Kevin Acey was on with us today and said he could be back in August. Could be. We have no idea because Tatis is a slow healer, but they have the latest on Tatis. If Tatis is going to be back in August, I don't know if they add a bat. If they know Tatis is going to be out, then they probably would add a bat, but I don't think it's their first concern. They're like amazing without Tatis historically, including this year.
Dude, yeah, they've been great without Tatis. And it's funny how those things are. Like 2022, they were great without Tatis.
It's weird. It's weird. Again, I'd prefer to have Tatis back. I think it makes them
I think it's
better
just a
team.
I think it's more of a coincidence type of thing than anything. But you know, the good news is, unlike 2023, like, well, knock on wood, like he's gonna return this year. 2023, this was kind of the same thing. Padres are playing great at the deadline. They made a huge move. Then the next part of business was just wait until Tatis gets back. And then the rug was pulled out underneath everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't envision it happening that way this year. I envision them going out and making a trade or two or three, like you said. They're playing good baseball right now. Hopefully they continue that into August and through then. And then while they're playing good baseball at the trade deadline in the playoff hunt, you get Tatis back, actually get him back. Huge.
It would be huge. It would. All right, guys, let's do this again Sunday night following the series finale when we'll be 2 days, actually less than 2 days away from the trade deadline to the Padres strike between now and Sunday night. We'll recap this series. You say yes.
I say Sunday they make a trade.
Yeah, I agree. I think the next time we have a wrap-up show, the Padres have made a trade. So be with us. We've got you covered throughout the trade deadline and throughout the course of the second half year in 2024 in the offseason as well. So this is your place for exclusive Padres content, the home of real Padres talk. Please subscribe. We need to get to 6,600 subscribers by 3 p.m. on Tuesday. We can only do it with your help. So please subscribe. Please smash the like button for us. Please follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. If you're here on replay, thank you for the super thanks. And thank you for your longtime support of our sponsors, like our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. If you have an insurance need, click that link in the description down below. Mova Globes. Take advantage of our exclusive offer to get 10% off by using promo code PWS10. Get those officially licensed Major League Baseball globes, including for the Padres. Promo code PWS10. And again, Underdog Fantasy, scan that QR code on the screen. Use promo code PADSWRAP, that's PADSWRAP, and get a free special pick and a 50% deposit match. All right, Padres win again tonight in Baltimore. We'll see you Sunday night, 9:30 Pacific. What questions do you have?
What question? Let me scroll up here. We'll answer your question. Here we go. So it sounds like we aren't getting you or Joe back.
Who said that?
Nobody said. The Yu Darvish thing, like truly probably not getting you back this year because of the issues he's facing off field, and you totally understand it. He's not even with the team. Joe, they're going to get back. They have talked about it. Kevin Acey reported that like they're targeting.
He's going to throw on Tuesday.
Late August here. He's throwing bullpens. He's
going to throw a game on Tuesday.
Yeah, he'll do rehab starts.
Yeah.
They'll get Joe back. It's just like, what are you going to get
What's
from
it
Joe?
Look like?
Yeah. So
what other questions did you have? Let me pull this up from Moises. Thank you. Look at that. 6 straight W's for the first time this year. Good work. And a peace emoji. Thanks, Moises. We appreciate you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, what other question? So it sounds like we're okay. Yeah. All right. Well, if you have more questions, we'll answer them on Sunday night, potentially. All right. We'll see you Sunday night, 9:30 for Jim. I'm John. This has been the wrap-up show. Thanks, guys.